We are live with you once again. This is like a part two. The first segment that we did. We did a part one podcast here on my YouTube channel. Live streaming this. You can catch us over Instagram and Facebook. How the police are murdering black people. This is like part two of that. If you want to ask us any questions, any comments, anything, you can hit that button and go ahead and send that question or comments to us if you have anything to say. Once again, this is I'm Brother Jamal live here once again on Instagram and Facebook. We were just talking about in the last segment how the politicians, all the politicians, especially the Democrats now, Joe Biden and even some of the local elections in whatever city you may be in or whatever location you may be in, none of these guys are talking about the police and how they're murdering black people. They don't even criticize them. They don't even say it's wrong. None of the politicians. The leaders, where are the so-called leaders at? The so-called leadership that supposedly always speak. Even some of the entertainers and the celebrities who always jumping up talking about the virus. They talking about the virus, which alhamdulillah is good. But where are those people at now when our people are getting murdered day in and day out across the country? Where are they at now? This last episode where you can see these cops. You can see this one particular cop has his knee on this brother's neck, and I'm sure they end up murdering him. That's what it ended up being. And you had other cops standing around watching it. Didn't try to say that was enough. You need to let him up. You're gonna kill him. No, but see, there's this notion that these people think that black people are not human. This is why they go to the extreme sickness that they go to murder black people, because they think they're not human. And the fact, how do we not know that there's so many of these police departments have not been infiltrated with the white supremacist groups? How do we know that they have not? We don't know that. See, but I'm saying what needs to happen is obvious that these cops don't care nothing about being videoed, because they continue to go on just like it's nothing. So what people need to start doing is getting their names and getting their addresses of where they stay and putting it on full blast, putting it out there, putting it all over the social media, what the name of these cops and where they live, because they don't need to have any peace. There should be no peace. If they are carrying out this kind of onslaught like they're doing, this kind of massacre like they're doing, then why should they have any peace? Why should they live in peace? They shouldn't have any peace. If they can carry on and murder people day in and day out, no remorse, not to the point where nobody's even saying anything. You hear me? Forget about the president. If you think that he's going to say something, or he's going to make a statement even to say it's wrong, that's not going to happen. He's not going to say one thing, because, look, if you run with a crowd and you hang out with a crowd, most likely you just like the crowd, and in this case, this is what we're talking about. So if you think somehow that he's going to make some statements or going to criticize them, no, he's not. He's not going to even say it's wrong. And it's in any cases where it's obvious that they are wrong, he's not going to say they are wrong. So I'm saying once again, people need to start getting the names and place they live and put it out on social media full blast. There needs to be some pressure put on these dirty cops. And we hear people say all the time, I said this on the last video, people say all the cops are not like that. Okay, I give you that. But what is it every time that we see them murdering some black man or black woman or black child or black youth, you see these other cops that will stand around and don't try to say that they shouldn't do it. Don't try to stop them. Don't try to say that they went too far. So what about those cops? If all of them are not dirty, then what about the ones that stand around and watch it? If somebody's doing something wrong, it can be a citizen, it can be a cop, it can be whatever. And if you stand and watch it, that makes you might well be doing it. If you stand and watch it, then you might as well be doing it. You might have been involved in it. Guilty by association. That's what they call it when they arrest somebody on the street out here. So the same thing applies for them. Guilty by association. You stand around and watch it. You don't try to prevent it. You don't try to say anything. Then you are guilty by association. These dirty cops who stand around and don't do anything or say anything, for all those people out there who quick to say, well, they're not all like that. Then prove it by when something happens, when they're in the midst of murdering somebody, some black person, then why don't the good cops say anything? Why don't the good cops denounce the bad ones? See? So don't give me that crap all the time about we got so many good ones, or there's some good ones. Okay, produce them. If they good, produce them. Where they at? That's what I want to know. Where are they at? If they so good, where they at? Because from what I see, the good ones are just like the bad ones. How you gonna distinguish between the two? If you got a bad cop that's on the verge, like in this picture of this brother, has his knee on his neck, and I'm sure the brother is screaming for his life, telling him he can't breathe, whatever. And then you got cops that stand around that's watching that and not trying to stop this cop, not saying that's enough. Then the ones that's watching it, you just as guilty as the ones that's doing it. See, there's no distinguish between the two. If you're watching and he's doing something that's dirty, that's wrong, and you're not trying to say anything or not trying to stop him, then you're just as guilty as the one that's doing it. Guilty by association. That's what you say when you arrest somebody on the street. Then in this case, guilty by association. Same thing applies. Same rules, same laws applies for you, for dirty cops. Once again, this is a just a brief, short part two that we want to bring to you about a podcast on how the police are murdering black people. And we're going to try to get this word out as much as we can.